A very good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. So, in this class, we'll discuss regarding the next parts of the module 1. So, in the yesterday's class, we have discussed regarding the installation of vertical elements. And in this class, we'll discuss with installation of the horizontal elements, what and all we need to plan, and how exactly we need to install those horizontal members. So, which are the horizontal elements? Can somebody please? Yesterday we have
Sir,
seen
beam.
the beam. Very good. Then slab.
And slabs.
Slab. Okay. So these are the major horizontal members what we are going to consider in this prefabrication system. Okay. So while installation of these horizontal elements, we need to go with several steps. In that first one, setting out. So setting out is nothing but we need to set the reference line that where exactly we need to install those horizontal members. So as per that reference lines, we need to install those structural members like slabs as well as the beam. And then so that reference line purely which is required for the alignment purpose. Alignment in the sense might be you can consider with a vertical alignment and even with a horizontal alignment, so that as per the design concepts they need to install those horizontal elements. For that we require reference line. And then the second one, put temporary prop to support the precast slab or beam elements. So soon after the erection process, we are going to install. And after the installation, they require certain supports. So what's the main reason to provide the support in the sense? Once you join the structural elements from one element to the other element, for example, you are going to place the horizontal member slab on top of the column, correct? So once you place that, certain joints will be there, you are going to provide the joints. So only through those joints, which is very difficult to stable on that column portion, so they are going to place some grouting materials, right? And until and unless that grouting material should get set, they require some additional supports. So for that, temporary props are required to support the precast slabs as well as the beams. What's the main reason to provide this prop? That is just to hold for certain hours for the additional support to the horizontal members. And then before the hoisting process, we need to check the dimensions. These are the common process because we need to check the dimensions as per the design concepts, so that it will be helpful to place without any difficulties. And then check level and stability of shim. So shims are the temporary level pads. They are going to place between the two structural element, so that which is going to give some supports until and unless we should fix those joints. Okay, so we need to check the stability because these shim plates or shim pads, they are purely dependent upon the weight of the material, I mean the weight of the structural element, and even the type of the structural element, whether it is from concrete, whether it is from steel. So based upon that, these shim pads are about to decide. And again, these shim plates are available in the market with various thicknesses. Okay, so we should check whether these shim plates are stable for the structural elements or not. And then check the starter bars are within the specified tolerance, just to prevent any observations during the erection processes. So as I said, the starter bars are providing to the horizontal members just to maintain the weights of the structural members. So whatever the load which is going to carry from the different members, like we can take the example of vertical members here, they are going to provide the horizontal, I mean they are going to provide these starter bars, so that these starter bars are going to consider those weights and then they are going to distribute equally. Okay, so we need to check the starter bars are provided for these members or not, and within the specified tolerances. These tolerances, that is purely dependent upon the total, I mean the original dimensions of the structural elements. So these starter bars just to prevent any observations during the erection process. So during the erection process, some stresses will get developed. So just to overcome those, we need to provide the starter bars. So whatever the load which is going to come on the structural members, the starter bars are going to distribute equally. Then during the hoisting and installation, most of the points are similar to the vertical elements. Again, they need to put the temporary props to support the slab and beam, and lift and rig the elements in designed locations. So this rigging in the sense just pulling the structural elements to the required location. So here that erection equipment only, they won't bring those structural elements from one place to the required location. So for that, they require some additional supports like riggers and all. So they are going to bring that one to the required locations just by some using ropes or chains. Okay. So these lifts as well as the riggers are to be ready during the installation process, and they should install as per the designed locations. And then align and check the level before the placements. Before placing that one to the required locations, we need to check the levels as well as the alignment of those structural members by using various checking instruments like plumb bobs and all, and even by using the level tools. So once that levels are matched, so that they can fix that one to the required locations. So before, for the final installation process, we should check the proper alignment of those structural elements. And then the beam shall prop at least two locations. I mean, these beams, whatever they are going to place on the top of the column sections, right? So during that place, they need to place from two different locations, at least two locations in the sense from both the sides. I mean, both the opposite sides, what you can call, because we cannot say that where exactly the load which will come on that particular horizontal member like beam. So from the adjacent side, they are going to provide props for the temporary supports. And then check the level of precast element. So level in the sense with respect to the ground height, ground level, they need to check with the dimensions whether exactly they have placed that beam or not. Okay, so this one we need to do while installing the horizontal members. And then the connections as well as the jointing part. So here the precast with cast in situ joints which are placed, the lap rebars are required. So here these horizontal members like beam as well as the column structures will be there. So we need to place. Again, the placing of these two members are having various connections. Sometimes this column depends upon the load consistency as well as the design criteria. We can think either it may come on top of the structural elements of column, else the half of the portion it is fixed with the column portion, and then remaining half of the portion it is fixed with the beam, else directly it will come on top of the column itself. So this joining will takes place depends upon the various factors. You will be studying that one in the module 3, so that different joints, how they are going to provide. So here basically to connect these horizontal members to the vertical members, these slab rebars are required, so that which is going to connect these structural members, right? So like these slab bars will be there. So these slab bars, they are going to give the connections between the horizontal members as well as the vertical members. And then while providing these particular joints, they need to fix the proper formwork. So this formwork, which is very important while giving the joints as well as the connections, because we need to give the proper portions for the joints as well as the connections. So for that, proper formwork is required. Okay. So then once we fixed with the proper dimensions and all, we can remove the formwork after the concrete strength is achieved. So after the particular days of curing, especially here we are going with steam curing. So compared to the conventional curing, it takes completes in the earlier time. So after achieving certain strength, we can remove the formwork. And then supporting beam that shall be designed just to form the part of formwork joints. So here they are going to provide the supporting beams. That is because of while erection of the structural members, I said the certain stresses will get developed, right? So those stresses we need to overcome. To overcome those additional stresses, they are going to provide some supporting beams or additional beams or temporary beams, what we can call. So for that also we need to give the certain space for joining purpose. These points you have to be remembered so that it will comes in the upcoming part. The supporting beams also we need to provide for the original beam just to overcome the additional stresses which are going to develop on the original members. So they are going to provide the temporary beams. For that reason, whatever the loads which will comes or stresses will get developed, that one it can be carried out by the additional member, so that original members will remain same. It is not going to disturb with any other additional stresses. And then the concreting or lapping rebars tied and sorry that connecting and lapping rebars which are tied and secured. So here whatever the connections we are going to provide, that one also it should be properly fixed, because these structural members are there only on the basis of these joints. So providing of the joints, we need to be very careful which type of joints we need to provide, and how exactly we need to provide, which locations we need to prefer. This all comes in the design concepts. Then for grade of the concrete also it should be similar, so that whatever the grouting materials they are going to place, it should be feasible to stick with those proper grades. And next, here installation using big canopy. So canopy is nothing but the structures what you can see. It's like in this way certain supports will be there. The canopy will be there in this part. So here these are the, it acts as what, these are the main supports which can carry, and then here you can see the structural members which will come in this portion. So which is going to carry these structural members by using in this way. Can you see this? Right? So installation, they are going to provide certain joints for these additional members, and then they are going to provide certain hooks by tying up these, and then so this one it can be lifted by the crane portion. Okay. So like that, even though by using these big canopies, we can install the structural members. So by using these canopies, especially at the high-rise buildings, which is used for the faster and efficient constructions. Instead of making the smaller members within these two, within this entire horizontal members, that entire member only it is going to carry from the lower end to the higher end by using these big canopies. Okay. By considering this, even we can reduce the number of joints, correct? And then the strength also we can achieve more than the substantial members after the dividing process. And then here we need to go with the proper management for the shifting of the structural elements from one place to other elements. In that, the first point, you can use the roller frames and platform was laid. So this one you can call it as the roller frame. So it acts from the bottom of the, I mean, from the ground level. Yeah. So from the ground level only it can get started. So on top of this, the structural members have been placed, and then it is going to erect that one by using these structures. Okay, which is going to push on up with the hydraulic energy here, and then which we can fix this one to the required locations, and even it can move horizontally also from one place to other place. And then the panels lowered in roller platform just to push that one to the underneath deck where the panel is required. We can move this one from many sections floors by operating this one to the required location. Then remove one deck panel to lift and install panel in correct position. So these equipments can be used in the prefabrication system, so that once we fixed, again we can go with the other members. And then here the one deck panel to lift, in the sense, depends upon the height, we can adjust this so that we can remove one thing and then we can come down or we can go up just by adjusting this instrument. And the major defects, what we can see in the precast panels. So my voice is audible to everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So which are the main defects we can see in the precast panels? Where exactly we can do the mistakes? Yeah, 1 minute. So the common defects to hole in the precast panels before the installation panel, right? So that we can see in the before the installation process. It's like common defects to hole in the precast panels means the precast panels will be there like these column like structures. So here in these column like structures we need to provide certain holes just to erect or else just for the connection purpose to the additional members. Clear? So here is by providing this exact location of the holes, if we do any mistakes, that entire structural members will get waste, because there whatever the structural members will come which is going to connect to this member, so for that they have placed exactly that where exactly those nut and bolt connections will be there. Correct. At on top of this portion it will come and fix in this particular holes. Suppose a last member's part which is too larger or misplaced because of the improper workmanship. So that time what it happens, which is very difficult to fix at this particular point. Either it may comes here and there, right? Once if it is got changed, which is very difficult to come and fix in these locations. So that one we need to concentrate more just to avoid these defects. And panel not properly touch up. So panels we need to go with the proper touch up for, means the additional clearance on the top of the structural members. So it should be fixed properly without causing any distresses. Then damage is due to the insufficient protections during the delivery. So this one it will get causes during the transportation part. So I said so many factors while transporting the structural members, those during the transportation, during the transporting process, so many obstacles we will face, that is deciding the proper routes so that that road condition it should be good, and then we need to lay the structural members properly without causing any distresses during the transportation. Then we need to maintain certain gaps between one member to the other members by providing some additional members so that the stresses will be reduced. And during sharp edges and all, the sharp edges of the roads and all, if you take the sudden turn, that entire stress which will come on one place, that one we need to avoid by avoiding those places, right? So we need to take care a lot so that whatever the damages are going to be occur during the transportation, that one we have to be adopt. So this one also the main damage that is causing because of the insufficient protections during the delivery part. And then panel dimensions deviations. So this one it will be get causes during improper formwork. So formwork it should be entirely rectangular in its structures or else as per the design concept. If you placed improper formwork because of the poor workmanship and all, that deviations which will causes, right? And then while manufacturing process also, if you have not maintained close supervision conditions on these structural members, because of the improper compacting process also, this may get leaks. Because while you place the concrete, especially at the horizontal members like the wall panels, so this one you just consider the wall panels, right? So you will go with the proper compaction at this part, and then the compactions, it may get reduced during this part, correct? So that time what it happens, that weight of the concrete will takes more at this portion than the this portion. Okay, because here you will go with the proper compaction, so without any honeycombing structures or gaps, that concrete will fill. And then here you will go with the normal compaction, that time the material consumption at this part, it will be reduced. So of course, weight of the structural members here, it will be more than this part. So that time the deviations will get occurs, where you will get the larger load, correct? So because of that reason also, these panels will get deviate. And even by using improper formwork also, which will deviate because of the exterior loads will takes place at the mistaken places. And then panel twisted, no rectangular. It's nothing but what, when that panel which has been twisted, it should be exactly with the rectangular in its position, so that while erection process and all, it will be much easier. And then you can see one more part, a panel will be rectangular at the only at the front face, correct? So only at the front face it will be rectangular, but when you have twisted it to the other angle, so it won't look with the proper rectangular in its structures. So that is also because of poor workmanship, as well as the poor workmanship, especially in form work. Okay, then wrong rib and architectural detail. So this one, it will cause us because of improper design experiences in the architectural part, because as per the load consistency, those joints and the connections will come. And rib in the sense that erecting element or threads, that particular portion, right? This one, what we are going to provide the joint for these elements just to erect this. So this one we need to provide, I mean, the this particular ribs we need to provide as per the architectural detail. Okay, so if something mistakes happens in the architectural design, that is going to affect for the erection purpose, right? So these are the general defects what we can see in these precast panels. And then missing starter bar, or as it is provided in the wrong position. So I said the starter bars, they are going to take some additional loads, and they are going to maintain that proper loading part without causing any de-stresses. So when you have missed to provide that additional bar, or else the starter bar, what it is going to happen, again that stresses will get developed on the original members, so that the cracks may get appears. And then when you have placed this one at the wrong position than the proper position, so that time also, whatever the load which is going to take in a balance mode, it will be imbalanced. Yes, somebody wants to convey something? Only 12 members are there today. The slide is visible to everyone, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so he's here, the corrugated pipe duct that is going to be choked. It's like what, especially this one, it will get occurs in the steel structures. So wherever they will provide certain openings in the steel members, if it is exposed to the environment before placing to the required location, that time the corrosions may and all takes place. And in the concrete constructions where they have provided for the plumbing structures, means you can take from the bathroom, whatever the pipes they are going to comes down as the plumbing part. So there also, that corrugated pipes, it may get damages to that particular portions when you have not taken the proper precautions, correct? So here you can see how exactly they need to provide, I mean, install these horizontal members. Here you can see the PC beams, I mean, the pre-stressed concrete beam as well as this PC slab. These are the two main horizontal members which will comes in the erection part as the horizontal members. So as we have discussed in the earlier part, the riggers they are going to bring that one to the required location just to place it here. You can see the starter bars and all here, so which will help for to connect the next members and even which is going to carry the additional loads. This signal man which is going to give the directions for both riggers as well as the crane operators. Okay, and here you can see the additional formwork which are to be placed because the height of placing this horizontal members it will be more than 3 meter, correct? So for that reason we need certain additional supports for the riggers directly from just by standing on the ground level. It is very difficult to bring that one to the required location. And even they need to check the proper alignments and also they require certain additional supports. Yeah, and here even for the PC slabs also by using the big canopies. Here these canopy like structures what you can see, they can place directly on top of this. Okay, and then after this the completing the other works like groutings and all by filling those joint parts. Yeah, and then moving on to the next concept, that is modular coordination. So here just compare with the conventional building, you will understand the concept behind this. So this module is nothing but what in this modular coordination, module is nothing but they are going to measure the dimensions of precast elements. So how we are going to measure the door panels or window panels? So door panels basically 2.1 meter height and 1.5 meter width. So here meter, 1.5 meter, 2.1 meter. So these are the dimensions belongs to conventional one. But here in precast elements, all the structural elements they are going to measure with the module. Here not with respect to meter, foot, inches, nothing. They are going to measure with respect to module. Yeah. So here the modular coordination that is defined as the basic module is adopted, the size of which is selected for the general applications of the building and its components. So those sizes as well as the dimensions which are used for the manufacturing purpose and even for the other aspects like erection and installation process. So everything which is measured in terms of module. So the value of the basic module that is chosen in 100 mm. So one module is equals to, here you can see, which is 100 mm. I mean 10 centimeter. Clear? So for 10 centimeter, either you can go with the horizontal mode, which is considered as one module. Like that, the dimensions it can be measured as per this 20 modules. That is for 2 meter and all. Right? I'm giving you the example behind the dimensions how they are going to consider. So here the symbol that is used for the basic module is capital M. Okay. So here in this prefabrication system, wherever you have seen the capital M, that means it stands for module. Okay. And here module is a standard unit of size that is used to coordinate the dimensions of the buildings and even the other components. Okay. And just by providing this, you will come to know that how much module you have been used from particular structural members and how you need to provide the joints. Yeah, so everything that is depends on this. And here also you will come, it will come with the half module and all where the adjustment of the structural members will be there. For example, 4.5 module in the sense it will be 450 mm, that is 45 centimeter, correct? So like that, it is going to matters. And then moving on to the next concept, that is standardization. So as I used this word so many times in the previous concept. So standardization is nothing but what, when a particular structure is going to be constructed. I mean, in the especially like a mass construction. I have given you the example like Ashraya colonies and even the quarters. So those quarters and all, they are going to construct same as with the other structural other building components, right? So like that, once you have seen the similar structures, those design concepts also it will be similar, and even the dimensions of the structural members also it will be similar, and whatever the properties you are going to design for one member, which is going to repeat for other building concepts also, right? So that concept, I mean, whatever we are going to design, that one for one particular building, and then which is going to refer with the other part, that process we can call it as standardization. So standardization, that refers to the creation and use of the guidelines for the production of uniform interchangeable components. The word you need to be remembered, the uniform, the structures which are uniform in its structures, I mean in its nature, like with respect to the dimensions, with respect to the design criteria, that one they are going to adopt for each and every building components. We are going to specially use in mass production. Okay, so it also refers to the establishment and even the adoption of guidelines for conduct of, to the global marketing, so that they can give the clear idea behind this standardization. Like once if you spent much time on the design concept for a particular building, no need to go with the other concepts, I mean design concepts with the other buildings, so that the rate of establishment it will be more in the market, and then even it can save the design cost what you are going to do with the conventional part. Okay, the term used in the describe the simplification and procurement and even the production to achieve the economy. So once you're done with a proper design for one particular building, the same it is going to repeat with the other buildings, right? So that time it can save while in the procurement of the materials, because you will come to know the total how many members are required. For example, for one building you are going to design like, yes, we require 14 columns and then three beams and then so and so, right? So you will come to know, and the similarly you are going to do the material calculations and procurement, like whatever the resources you require for one building. The same thing if you go with the multiplication with the number of buildings how much you require, so the things will be much easier, so that even at the procurement also we can save some cost, because we'll come to know the exact requirement of the resources, so that that is going to helpful in the achieving of the economy in the construction part. Okay, so when you go with the standardization concept, you can save some cost, right? The advantages of standardization is like, we can go with the easier constructions because these are the repeated structural members. Once we do thoroughly, it is going to helpful for other members also. Then we can go with the faster manufactures, because similar formwork it can be repeated for various buildings. So the same formwork we can use it for the various structural components of other buildings, so that that work which will require to change the formwork positions it can be reduced, and then in the earlier time we can finish the manufacturing process. And then cable erection and completion, so here whatever the defects or the problems we'll face in the erection process, it can be omitted, because once we do the trial and error for one particular member, same thing we can repeat it for other members also, right? So that even the cable erections also and the completion process will be easier compared to the other structural members. Then these are the factors influencing the standardization. It's like the most rational type of member for each element which is selected from the point of production, from the assembly serviceability, and even with respect to the economy. So rational type in the sense the similar type of the structural members which is selected from the point of productions, which will be similar even while placing in the transportation vehicle also, the similar structural members you are going to place. Even in the manufacturing process also, you'll manufacture the similar structural members with respect to the dimensions as well as the other concepts like weight, and then providing of the joints, each and everything whatever it comes in the manufacturing process, transportation, and even in the erection process. So it is going to save some cost. So rational type of the member that will leads to provide the additional economy in the structures. And then the number of types of elements which are limited and they are to be used in quantities. So here number of types of elements in the sense you can see column, beams, and then slabs, right? So these are the main structural components in the prefabrication system. So here they are going to manufacture only three types. Just I'm giving you the example, like similar structures of columns, similar structures of columns, similar structures of slabs, and similar structures of beams, right? Because these are the structural members they are going to construct repeatedly, right? So only less number types of elements are there, not like in the conventional C1 size will be different, C2 size will be different, and then even by providing the orientations, that one it will get different. And then so many changes will be there in the conventional part, depends upon the design concepts. We are going to change that, but in the standardization those column structures, I mean the structural components dimensions are also which will be similar, so that is going to helpful in the mass production, right? And then to the extent possible the largest size is to be used, which results in less number of joints. So here in this case they need to provide the largest size of the members without dividing that one into the number of sections, because when you have divided that one into a number of sections and then if you have manufactured, might be the weight carrying capacity you can be reduced, because a whole structure or largest size it requires the larger capacity of the cranes just to erect this, and even we need to provide lot of care for these members. So for that reason this number of whole elements they are going to divide in these parts, but as per the availability of the resources we need to provide a large size of the structural members just to provide the number of joints. So when you have provided the number of joints, again the chances of accidents or the stresses which will get developed on these joints it will be increased. So we need to reduce the number of joints, and these joints even it leads for the leakage purpose also. Then the size and the number of the prefabricates which are limited by the weight in overall dimensions that can be handled by the transportation. So even when you are using with the similar dimensional structural members, you can choose a better transportation vehicle at once, because if you not follow the standardization and each and every structural members are different than each other, so what it happens, you need to choose different types of cranes for a particular part of structural members and even for the transportation vehicle also. When you have provided the proper standardizations in the prefabrication, a similar transportation vehicles can be used to transport all the structural members. Clear? So even while selecting of that transportation vehicle also it can be minimized, because those dimensions and all once if it is fixed as per those dimension criterias, we can choose the type of transportation. Hence which is preferably to have all the prefabricated elements approximately with the same weight. Even this is also considered much, not only with respect to the dimensions, even with respect to the weight also we need to handle it properly, which will be very near to the lifting capacity of the equipment. That one again we need to decide how much weight we are going to provide. That is again depends upon the type of the equipment available, especially the cranes and all this uniting structures. It's like especially these terms will be comes in steel structures. Clear? So this disuniting of structures we'll discuss in the next class. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If you're having any doubts, just put me a message through the chat box. Else, just place your name and USN in the chat box, and then you can disconnect the call.